first thing, and this is why I think we never given Donald Trump enough credit, is that he understands the value of manipulation better than anyone else. I always say, Trump sort of reminds me of my favorite line in the Austin Powers movie when Dr. Evil was frozen and then they bring him back and they defrost him and he turns to number two and he says, "What have you been doing all this time?" And number two said, "Well, I bought up all the media." And Dr. Evil says, "Well, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Why would you do that?" And he said, "Because if you control the inputs, you control the outputs." Trump understands that. That's why he bought in Zuckerberg. That's why Elon Musk bought X, right? To manipulate the algorithms. All of these things are happening at the same time, the confluence of things that I think have people really lost in the sauce and not living in their own reality. But one thing that is true is no matter where you see yourself on the economic scale, if it was more about the black and the brown people than it was about your own economics, the reality is this particular economy is going to and is affecting everyone from top to absolute bottom. We've lost trillions of dollars in the markets. That's in people's retirement funds. To your point, the tariffs are increasing costs with every day. You've got an uncertainty that exists and a chaos that exists that is causing markets to crash all over the country and then all over the world. And then you've got the situation with this particular bill where people are going to be squeezed on every end. That's the situation we're about to see and experience now. And the difference between this administration and the last one when Trump was in office is now this is coming very early in his tenure. So it will be very clear who is actually to blame. You can't blame Joe Biden. You can't blame the Democrats. Can't blame transgender, whatever, the immigrants, whatever they sort of always default to. It's going to be squarely on Donald Trump's shoulders and Republican shoulders. So it does create this opportunity for Democrats to really make this case that this is who these guys are. They've always been these people. They could care less about you. They will come in, lie, cheat, and steal to get your vote. But then they pass policies that are against your own interests, not just your national security interests, but your economic interests. And that's the case that we've got to make. That again, the world is more expensive, the world is more chaotic and more dangerous under Donald Trump, and the American people are paying for it. That's the message that we have to actually, as Democrats, go in and promulgate from red to blue states to red to blue districts.
Hip politics, baby.